All right, you guys, it is time for DC TV. We've had a little bit of a break, but we're back, so I'm really excited for this segment.
Yeah, and Gotham is on a hiatus this week, so let's just speed right into The Flash and talk about an episode called Out of Time. Possibly could be about time travel. We don't know.
I mean, we've kind of been getting hints and just allusions to that, so I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that we get some time travel. But one thing I do know that I'm excited to see is, when we saw the pilot, we saw a character that I assumed, and I think a lot of fans assumed, was the Weather Wizard. We had Clyde in that episode.
And he was killed by Joe, but he's not the Weather Wizard. In the comics, the Weather Wizard is Mark Martin, and he shows up in this episode seeking revenge for the death of his brother in the pilot.
And it's kind of just a nod again to how much they are referencing the comics. This character first appeared in issue 110 of The Flash in 1959, so bringing that character back now, I think that fans are just going to be excited about the fact that we're getting that character.
And stormy weather is a perfect time to have a date, which I think is going to happen in this episode.
Yeah, there's going to be possibly a double date that I think a lot of people have been waiting to see. We've got Iris and Eddie, and now Linda and Barry.
Yep, Linda Park, also a great supporting Flash character from the comic books. But you know, speaking of awkward dates, there is going to be some awkward dates of zombies and mortals and other zombies in the premiere of iZombie, which finally happens this week. And you know, since it's the Veronica Mars creator Rob Thomas, it'll be interesting to see how a certain resurrection as a zombie can change your dating life and your normal life.
He does such a great job, like you said, on Veronica Mars with strong female characters. So the lead character, we've got Rose playing Liv, who we get to see her as her human self at the beginning, and we actually get to see the transformation of her becoming a zombie, which I'm really excited about.
You have to see this anterior rectus sheath contusion. It looks exactly like the Virgin Mary holding a Les Paul. It would be wrong of me to Instagram that.
Yes, it would.
So, in the 5 months you've been here, what's the weirdest thing you've seen?
You drinking cereal milk over a corpse.
I like that you always keep it under 15 syllables. It gives us good rhythm. Working with my last resident was like prepping for the newlywed game. Oh, what's your favourite colour? How old were you when you first touched a boob? It's nice to know I can dissect a Jane Doe spleen without feeling obligated to list my top desert island albums.
She's a Jane Doe.
That looks awesome. I can't wait to see the whole episode.
But it also makes me excited to talk about my favorite DC show right now, Arrow. We got an episode called The Offer, and we're dealing with all the aftermath of whether or not Oliver is going to say yes to Ra's al Ghul, to becoming the new Ra's al Ghul.
So if Ollie becomes the leader of the League of Assassins, he will then be called what?
Ra's al Ghul.
Ra's al Ghul.
Also in this episode, we have a Flash villain who is becoming an Arrow villain, Murmur, the man who sews up his lips so he can't squeal on his own crimes.
This is another thing that I think is so great. All of these shows for DC TV know their voices, and Murmur is a Flash villain, but too dark for the Flash universe that we're seeing on the CW right now, so he fits in perfectly with the Arrow world.
Flash is very much a superhero-y show. Arrow is the real. We're in the streets and we're fighting people who sew their lips shut.
So it's time for the bad apple of the week.
Okay.
This week, it's Harrison Wells.
Of course. That is the man who has been mysterious and suspicious since the pilot.
Seriously, almost every episode has ended with a moment with him that I like to call Holy Harrison
Holy
moments.
Harrison moments.
So I'm just gonna assume that the further we get in the season, that we're gonna keep getting bigger reveals from him. My fingers are crossed. We already know he's the man in the yellow suit.
We can only hope that there maybe is an episode where the whole episode is a Holy Harrison moment.
I don't even have anything to say to that. I wanna see that.
Jump on your cosmic treadmill and get to that episode.
Remember to go to DCComics.com for all your hashtag DCTV secrets hidden in each of these shows. And if you want DC news in 140 characters or less, be sure to follow DC Comics on Twitter.